What's going on, everybody? Zack Brittain here with Phipps Real Estate. I am a local real estate agent and investor here in Waterloo Region, and today we have an awesome video for you. Today I'm going to go through how I went from 0 units to over 10 units in just 2 years. So let's get into it. Okay guys, before we get into it, in this video, we're gonna be breaking down my very first deal in a lot more detail, as well as the setup, build up, and how exactly I executed on that one, because that really leveraged and set the stage to allow me to continue to grow the portfolio. But before I get into those details, I really just wanna set the stage for where I was coming from and really what my experience was like before I dove into this. So I'm a local real estate agent. I've been a real estate agent for over 5 years now here in Waterloo Region. And at the time, I was about 3 years in the business. So I had experience with investors, with buyers, with sellers. I had friends and clients and other investors that I was going to visit their job sites, asking them lots of questions, doing my own research, and analyzing the market for what I thought were good deals and were really gonna help accelerate my financial growth. So I had some experience. I was only 28 when I first started this as well. So it's not like, I was much later or, had a much more established career or experience in these things. I wasn't super old, but I was fairly young. And I pulled this all off in a 2-year window. Now I'm being 30. And to touch on that, the experience. So in a lot of these projects, I was involved with the first couple, doing a lot of the work myself as well. But I had no construction experience or renovation experience going into this. I had a ton of help from friends, but I also did a ton of upfront work to surround myself with the right people and understand how I fit into each project in the investment. So I understood where I was going to be bringing the most value and where I could be the most successful in these projects. Self-awareness is key, guys. Next, multiple strategies and kind of nuances that made these deals possible and successful. I'll be going that in detail for the very first one because I tried and used a lot of different things to help me pull off that first deal. But it's really important to note as an investor, whether you're experienced or just starting to consider getting into your first project, is that you can pull this off. I used a lot of different stuff. I did a lot of research. I met a lot of people. I had a lot of help. But also, I was able to put all that together and really be a person of action and make it happen. So I just want to stress for any of you people that are maybe a little hesitant or a little bit worried or maybe just even not sure if you can really pull something like this off, all I can tell you is that executing and growing a portfolio is very possible. Nothing special. A lot of it's just taking action, being prepared and thinking ahead, and you can pull off these deals. So that being said, let's get into the first deal. Awesome, guys. So financing your first project is typically the most tricky. And for us, there was a lot of components at play. Now, the down payment for the first project of ours came from personal savings as well as a family gift. That's when we knew we had enough money to actually put a down payment on a property. And I'd already been talking to a few mortgage brokers and a few banks to understand what my lending options were. Now, pause right here. Pro tip for anybody considering getting financing for projects, especially for your first one when things may be a little bit tighter than others, is you want to make sure that you may clear the debts or the obligations that you may have because it could hurt your lending power. In my instance, I was up for a car lease a year prior to purchasing this, but I knew the following year I was planning on buying a property, and putting a brand new car lease on my file may reduce what I'd actually be able to lend. So I made arrangements to have my lease put on a family member's name, made an agreement with them to keep it off my file, so I was still able to get the car I needed for my work, but also the buying power I needed to pull off my first property. After that, we made sure we explored all of our mortgage financing options to make sure that we knew exactly the type of budget we had and all the financing options we had before we even went out and started shopping for a home, so we knew what scenarios we could buy in. After that, we had also figured out how we were going to be accessing the cash and the funds available for a renovation, how much we would need, when we would need the money by, so that we knew if we had to pick up a property quick or a deal fell into our lap right away, we were in a position to execute on it because we already had the funds set aside or available to renovate the home if we needed to. So I just want to talk about the searching process and how we found the first deal that we executed on. So searching and acquiring the first property, we were set up an online search portal. I'm an agent, I know the system. That's what we're using to find the deals. This was an on-market property. Next, I'm going to view everything that fits my profile. I was looking for a duplex conversion at the time, so I knew the neighborhoods, the styles, the price points that I wanted to fall within. And then I'm gonna go view everything that falls within that because I already know it's gonna match my financial model because I've run the numbers and checked them and prepared for them. After I've done my research, after I've confirmed my financing, I already know exactly what I'm looking for. I'm an expert in that type of property, so I'm gonna start looking and viewing all of those. And then I started offering, offers. If you're a real estate investor, you're not going to get every offer, and you're just not going to get properties if you don't offer. So I was offering on any property that felt like it was a good opportunity and fit my model until I acquired the right one. And just to highlight something, consistency is king in order to find the good deals. The property that we ended up buying, we actually got an under asking price in a competitive market. And that was huge for me as a newer investor that didn't necessarily have the budget flexibility, as well just improve the profitability of the deal. So when I'm searching for properties, especially my first one, and even when we're searching for properties right now, we still follow this model. We view a ton of opportunities. We view every opportunity that we think is a good fit. We offer a solid offer that makes sense for us on every home. And we're not going to get them all, but we need to make sure we're offering. And we do this consistently, and that allows us to consistently find deals. So now we're going to go over the details of the type of property and the price point and everything we did to pull off the first project. Awesome, guys. Now we're going to get into the specifics of the first project. So I purchased a bungalow in November of 2019 for $425,000. This was a property that was listed at $450,000. I got it $25,000 under asking price because it needed work. The previous owner wasn't in a position to take care of the home anymore. They had 3 large dogs and a handful of cats that had ruined a large portion of the property. But as the investor, I knew that I was going to go in and redo it anyway. So this was the exact type of project I was looking for. I went and viewed it in the afternoon, was at the table with them, with the listing agent and the seller that evening. About 3 or 4 hours later, negotiating the deal, got it under contract, we're good to go. We had our down payment and closing costs of $95,000 that was taken from majority of savings and a little bit of a family gift that we already had ready to go. And then we had our reno and our carrying costs budget set at $100,000 for a project like this. After I got in to view the unit, before offering, I confirmed that that's what it would take for that type of project. Boom, offered, got under contract, good to go. So I had the $100K reno budget lined up, and as soon as we took possession of the home, we started on the project. This was a dated bungalow with good ceiling height, nice 50 by 125 lot on a quiet crescent. And then I knew that we could duplex it. I'd already done my homework, and so we're going to convert the single family home into a legal duplex. Perfect. Things that you guys can do as newer investors, and I just kind of want to touch on this real quick, is before I got into real estate, I studied economics and finance. I wasn't a contractor, I wasn't a handyman, I'm not a particularly handy person, but I had started to learn the skills that I knew I could use to add value or save on costs when we were doing the renovation. And it was a big project, especially for a newer investor, you're going out and spending a ton of money. So here's the things that I did to save money and reduce the cost of my renovation budget. I did the demo. I painted, I did the insulation, trimming doors, kitchens, as well as a lot of the exterior work. Now, I had a ton of help from friends and family. I'm not going to say that I didn't, but I was in a position to make arrangements in advance and make those relationships and connections with the people that I knew could help me and that I had already previously helped maybe with other items. So obviously it was mutually beneficial. And what I want to stress is you don't need to be experienced, but you need to be somebody that has a plan, thought ahead, and be able to take action. That is the most important skill, is the ability to take action and control of a situation like this, because it'll dramatically improve your chances of being successful. Now, so once that was all done, we were able to refinance this property at 705. Pause right there. Legal duplex, right? So I'm living in the top unit with my partner, and then we're renting out the basement unit to tenants. Awesome, we got tenants at $1,600 a month. Beautiful. With that $1,600 a month and our new mortgage after we refied at the 705, we were living for about $50 more expensive than we were when we were renting a property. It was fantastic. We're in a home for $50 a month more out of our pocket than just renting a home. It was a no-brainer for us. So we had the extra income, and since we had the refi, we got $227,000 check back from the bank. After we paid back part of the loan that we took for the renovations, which was, let's say it was close to 60, we had about 150K once it's all said and done. And we were gonna go use that to roll into our next project. That's where we got the funds to go roll into the next project, plus some savings. So we took a $425,000 bungalow, got our down payment, our closing cost, borrowed the majority of our reno and carrying cost, refinanced it for the 705. We're making $1,600 a month in rent, which reduces our living expenses, and bonus points, we can use that to help our financing because it's income, boosts our income. We can use that to help our financing on the next project. Oh, and by the way, after we paid off our reno loan, the bank just gave us, bang, 150K more to go roll into the next project. And that's what we're gonna cover right now. So as we're wrapping up the refinance process, the project's coming to a close and I'm figuring out how the dust is gonna settle, I had an opportunity to go purchase another project with my partner, Matt Phipps. So we scooped up another property to duplex for $477,500. Now pause right there. This was in the summer of 2020, as that's kind of starting to get closer. So my first project was coming to a wrap. I already know where the refi's coming in and how that dust is going to settle. So we're hunting out for a new project to purchase and then close a month or two after our refinance is going to be done. I wanted to be more aggressive. There was opportunities in the market. So less than 6 months later, I purchased another property, almost the same, but for 50 grand more. Our market was moving really quick at this time, right? So we picked up another project to duplex for $477,000, bigger home, bigger budget. I ended up turning around and selling this one for $930,000 about 6, 7, 8 months after we'd purchased it. The market took another big jump up. So we were able to flip this one, originally going to keep it, but we flipped it and took a very large profit on it, which was fantastic. At the same time, about a month after we were able to scoop up number 2, we had an opportunity to buy a vacant duplex. This vacant duplex was a single family home that had a bungalow and then had an attached addition off the back that was a completely separate unit. So it was a legal duplex and the basement hadn't really been finished. So we saw an opportunity to get new tenants in there to set market rents and in the future, potentially add value by either adding another level in the basement, another legal unit, which would increase our cash flow. Fantastic. So we were able to get that one under contract for $645,000, and at a purchase price of $645,000 with current market rents, it was cash flow positive right off the bat. Fantastic. So getting lending for this one was fairly straightforward because we could show our income. We could also show that it was going to be cash flowing once we had leases in place. And we were in a position to bring the cash for the down payment between savings and the equity that I had from the first project. So long story short, picking up this one, we're able to pay for the down payment between savings. I was also purchasing with a partner, so I had him contributing for that project as well as the renovations. We could pay out as the renovations needed it, so we didn't necessarily need the entire rental budget up front. We were in a position to do that. At the same time, we were able to have a lump sum available for a down payment for this project. That was just a vacant property. It only took us a few $1,000s to get it up to speed and rent it out. And once it was rented out upon closing, we were making cash flow positive on that every month. That's how we got into number 2 and number 3. This one we ended up selling for a profit though. So this one we don't currently hold. We got rid of that one and we rolled that into the next projects. So these are our 4th, 5th, and 6th projects that we did. These were all happening between end of summer and midwinter of 2020. And I just want to note before we get into these is one way, and one of the main ways that I use to scale my portfolio is to get partners, right? Good way to mitigate risk. It can share the tasks associated with completing multiple projects as well. You can grow quicker, right? It's an option that's on the table and that I utilized and was very successful for me. So we had partnered for a single family flip. We purchased a single family home for $509,000 the end of last year, or at the end of 2020. And then we ended up selling it in the spring for $710,000. Great profit. Market was moving quite quickly at that time. Saw an opportunity and we decided to sell it. Next one was a duplex conversion. And we actually have more videos on this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Great project. So we purchased a duplex or a property to duplex for $601,000. Now take into consideration, guys, I purchased my first one in November 2019 for $425,000. In about a year and a half, those same projects are selling for $601,000, right? You can't time the market perfectly. It's time in the market. Had I not made that first move and really taken a big step to get that first project, I wouldn't have been in a position to be prepared to execute on the future ones and profit from the market increasing, right? So just some food for thought. But I would like to note, for the duplex conversions, the reason I really liked those ones on top of the other reasons I've already touched on was if I was planning on flipping a duplex, let's say, and the market changed between when I first acquired the project and when I was ready, when it was finished and ready for sale, then I knew I could hold it and I could cash flow it as is. So I knew it gave me options. And options as an investor, especially a younger, newer investor, where each project has a very big impact on my portfolio, is I really wanted to make sure that worst case scenario, if I had to hold the project, that I was in a position that I could do that and it was going to be profitable for me, right? So that's why I really like the duplex conversions. If we weren't able to turn around, sell it, or we needed to sell it and couldn't for whatever reason, then I could rent out the units for what I needed to carry the project and make some money every month at the very least. So that was a really good option for me and seemed like a really good kind of backup plan. That's not the only option for those projects, but just as an investor, that was something that was important to me given my specific circumstances. So that duplex conversion, we purchased it for $601,000, sold it for $888,000. And then we had another single family flip that we purchased around the same time as this one for $564,000, ended up selling it for $885,000. side note on this one is we were actually considering converting that into a legal duplex, but since the market for newly renovated homes that were in great condition and at affordable prices was very, very limited at that time, instead of spending the extra money to convert it into a legal duplex, we saw an opportunity to be just as profitable while maintaining a slightly lower renovation budget because we didn't have to invest in, completely legally separating the units. Less laundry units, one less kitchen, one less full bathroom. So there's opportunity for us to reduce our reno budget, but still maintain that same sale price or similar sale price, which made that project more profitable for us. So in summary, these were the single family flips and one of the duplex conversions. I liked the duplex conversions and still do because the backup plan is always to keep it and hold it because holding real estate is always a great play. And the single family homes, we use those, or the single family flips, we use those to build up our cash positions so that we could go out and either buy more projects or larger ones and continue to do so multiple at a time. So now we're gonna get into deals 7, 8, 9, and 10. So our 7th deal was a single family flip. We purchased a bungalow single family home for $601,000. And we are actually in the process of selling this very shortly. So profitability is to be determined. Expectation, probably selling anywhere between 9 and 950, but we're gonna see. Around the same time we actually purchased this one, again with partner, we purchased a triplex downtown Kitchener. And I wanted to make a couple notes on this one real quick. First off, we purchased all these properties on market. Second, this particular one, there was 8 other offers on this property at the time, and we paid $873 for it. The reason we paid $873 was a few reasons, but mainly owner occupied and vacant. We were getting all 3 units vacant. Second off, premium downtown location. So it offered short-term upside because we get vacant possession of all the units and rent them out as is, or what we opted to do was actually update all the units so that we could refinance it and get a higher rent rate. As well, additional parking and storage and upside to do something with the extra garage space, with the basement. There's lots of things that we can do to boost the cash flow. Long story short, we plan on refining this between 1.1 and 1.2, and we expect about 5,500 to, let's say, 5,800 a month in cash flow. Fantastic cash flow. Cap rate's great as well. The location's money. We love downtown property, especially if they're short-term and long-term upside. This was a no-brainer for us, but just wanted to highlight we're purchasing units on market, in competition, still finding great deals. Now, the next one we ended up getting under contract is a 4-plex in downtown Kitchener that we got a couple of months ago and we're closing very soon. This one is $965K. We got it a few thousand under asking price, got a conditional offer accepted. Again, on market, in the crazy market that we're in right now, got this one under contract for $965 because it would at that purchase price, it would cash flow as is. So we're making a couple $100 a month on this. And good news, guys, we got notice from one of the tenants in actually one of the largest units. Units are in great shape, they're fine, but the rents just aren't that great, which is probably part of the reason why it didn't get a ton of action. But what we saw was a long-term opportunity because premium location, rents are good enough that it cash flows as is, so we are keeping the tenants. We're going to be making money on it and paying down that debt. And the lot is absolutely fantastic, offering future upside. But we had a pleasant surprise. We got notice from one of the tenants between when we purchased it and when we closed on it, allowing us to get access to one of the larger units. And we're actually going to update that and then likely refinance the property. So this one, we got cash flow positive, plus we're going to BRRRR it almost, a little mini BRRRR, let's call it. And then we're going to refinance it because our markets have gone up since we've purchased it, plus the rents are going to go up and how nice the units are going to go up between now and the next couple months once we get the refi cooking. So that is going to be a long-term hold. This is going to be a long-term hold. This one we're selling, and the one that we just got under contract and closed is a duplex conversion close to Fairview Mall in Kitchener. Purchased this for $728. Now I just want to highlight here again, guys, we are purchasing all these properties on market. All these deals were purchased on market, right? And I just want to highlight this right here. That is the same purchase price for almost the exact same property as my very first deal that I purchased 2 years ago. A little bit different price point, right? So you're saying, Zach, well, how do you see value in properties like this if price points are going up so aggressively? First off, resale prices and rents are increasing with the market. Inventory is very low, demand is very high, prices are continuing to appreciate. And honestly, this is probably about 50K under what most projects like this are going for. And we got it on market, so I'll take the deal. This one we're going to be converting into a legal duplex, giving us 2 additional units. So now I'm going to break down all the ones that we've sold so you can see that, and the ones that we're currently holding so you can see how I went from 0 to over 10 units in 2 years. So investors, before I go over the projects that we've sold and the ones that I hold, I just want to talk a lot about exactly how we're pulling this off and how you can start from one project and roll the proceeds into the future ones. A few major components that you're going to want to look at is cash flow. If you're generating additional income and cash flow, you can use that to finance future projects. You can also consider getting into partners or JV partners. This will allow you to utilize either their skill set, their capital, their financing, or a combination of in order to acquire more projects a little bit quicker. In addition, and I think this is really the secret sauce of becoming a successful investor, especially if you're starting and scaling, is figure out how to add value or solve a specific problem. As an investor, especially for my first one, I knew that I could add value by putting in a lot of sweat equity for that first one and utilizing my experience, my network, and my connections to improve the profitability and reduce the timeline of my project. That was something that I could do. I wasn't going to be the one completing all the work, especially the difficult and the technical finishing skills. I knew that wasn't for me, but I positioned myself to add value in different ways. Other things that you can do instead of just doing incomplete renovations, that's our preferred method. We like to go in and add units, completely renovate space, take a 2 out of 10 and bring it up to a 10 out of 10. But if that's not what you're interested in, or you don't think you're capable of doing that, you can look into a lot of different ways. And things like a lipstick reno, or maybe adding value or solving a specific problem, whether that be tenants, or whether that be parking or exterior curb appeal, or just managing a property better. There's lots of different things that you can do as an investor to add value that isn't just forced appreciation. For me, I wanted to be aggressive, I wanted to scale, I wanted to gobble up as many units as I could as quickly as possible. So I needed to go in there and be aggressive and really help appreciate units so that I could refinance, pull that money out and go put them into more projects. In addition to that, I was living lean and I was keeping my other debts at a zero. I wasn't taking on any other debts so that I could maintain or improve my financing ability so I could go out and purchase other units. So these are things to consider that you should look into as an investor if you're planning on starting or continuing to scale your current investment portfolio. So investors, now that you know we were using forced appreciation for a lot of these refinances, our market was also increasing quite significantly, which helped really expedite and speed up the process for us. Learning how to add value and how to take action is a really important thing, and understanding where you fit in the investment process will only help you prepare and succeed. So now you can see we've sold these projects. Duplex conversion number 2, 2 single family flips, another duplex conversion, and then a single family flip we're about to sell right now. Now, full disclosure, those duplex conversions, we were likely going to hold on to them. When we typically do a duplex conversion, we want to hold it. We were presented with an opportunity to sell those projects at a premium so that we could roll them into either larger or more profitable projects that were available in our marketplace at that time. So we did. That allowed me to hold on to the duplex, the very first one. That's 2 units. We also had the third duplex, which was a vacant one, which we didn't really have to invest that much in, just a few $1,000s and then get it rented out. That's 2 more units. Purchased a downtown triplex that we're BRRRRing. That's 3 units. Downtown fourplex, which luckily for us, we're gonna update the 1 unit and likely try and refinance. That's another 4 units. And we have the duplex conversion we just closed on, and we are actually just finished gutting and getting ready to start put back together. So we have 0 units in 2019, in November of 2019, to 11 units in December of this year, plus the 2 for the duplex conversion that we have right there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I went from 0 units in 2019, 2 years ago, to 11 plus 2 coming up, just like that. Investors, now that you've seen how I've scaled from 0 units to over 10 in just 2 years, I got a question for you. What are you doing to add value to your investment properties? Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you want more videos like this, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell, and send us a message. We'd love to hear from you and connect with other investors if there's other content and videos that you guys are looking for. Other than that, hit the subscribe button, stay tuned, and hit us up in the comments. Let us know how you're finding value in your real estate portfolio today.